Okay, so we are doing life cycle today. We created a new component here. In the new component, we created the constructor function with the variable this dot state, and we created two variables inside username and age. And this is the render function with the hello world, and we are doing the life cycle methods in the React. So first is the component will mount, second is the component did mount, third is the component will receive props, and it will get the new props. Next lifecycle method is should component update, and it gets the new prop and new state inside it. You don't have to remember this new props, new state, or new props. Just you need to remember the names of each one. This is only to see what is coming, but it's not required or not very important. Next will be the component will update. This will also get next ops and next state. And then next will be the component did update. And this one will be having the previous ops and previous state. And then next one will be the component will unmount. So these are the lifecycle methods we have to remember. One is the will mount, did mount, will update, did update, will receive props, should component update, component will unmount. So this is the name. How many other? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 are there. So now we'll go one by one. So exactly what is component? Component means this render part. Okay, so when I say component will mount, that means will this render be attached to the HTML? That means whether this render will be called, whether render will be called in this page. So it's saying component will, that means render will be called. Then will be component did mount. After this render is called, this component did mount is called.
Okay.
This life cycle, what is the use of this life cycle? Let's say if you want to call some ajax request, and you want to call that ajax request when this is populated. So when this div is populated, the second method, that is the component did mount, will be called.
Okay.
So all ajax requests will go inside here.
Okay. Every time, that's how it will go.
Right.
Okay.
If you want to put some ajax request in your application, you will put inside this. Because if you put inside this, at this time, the div is not ready. It's not attached to the main HTML.
Right.
So if you do ajax, it will break sometime. Sometime it will not break because of the speed of the call, but it will break sometime.
Yeah.
If you put it here. But if you put it here, that means div is already there, and you can call the ajax request.
Okay.
This is something kind of in jQuery we have document dot already. That is similar to this function.
Okay.
So I will write down the meaning of each one, and so that you can understand what's happening with each one. So
this is life cycle of what? The whole
life cycle means whenever the React will run, which function will be called first, which function will be called second.
Got it.
This is to understand that one.
So
I will put console.log in each function. We will see which one is calling first and which one is calling second and last. This is constructor. So first function which is called is constructor, always. So whenever the app is loaded, this function is called by default, constructor. Let's put console.log here. This is render. I put only console.log in these two places. Let's see in the browser what we are seeing. You are seeing this is a constructor and this is a render. That means First function which is called is constructor.
Constructor.
Second function which is called is render.
Rendering.
Now if I put console.log here and I will say component will mount, and I'll put this one here, say component it mount. So let's refresh it. So first is called constructor. Then saying will mount. That means whether render function will mount or not.
Okay.
And then render function is mounting. So we are in the render. And after render is mounted, we call the component did mount.
Okay.
So after
mounting
render,
on what? Like mounting means what? Like
mounting means attaching that div tag to the HTML.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Or you can also, this is called, this render function is called.
It's called. Okay.
Yeah. So either way is the same meaning.
So
first this is called, then it goes to will mount, then it goes to this one, and then it goes to this did mount. Generally, why lifecycle is used, I already told that if you want to do ajax, you have to put it here. You cannot put it here or any other place. Similarly, each one has some function. So if you want to write some your custom coding in each of the lifecycle, you can do it. Practically, I have used only this part. I never used all other thing in any of my projects. Only I used this part. So practical point of view, only this part is important, but rest all are important for interview purpose.
Got it. Okay.
Next will be this reciprop. We will do later because this is not, you cannot see it in here. We have to make some conditions to make it work. So this will not really useful now. Now let's put console.log in should component update. Now it's saying, let's say whenever you change the state, first function is called this should component update. That means if you are changing the state, do you want to render it again? Do you want to call the render function again after you change the state? So you have seen whenever I was changing
that will happen,
state,
right? Yeah.
Right. Whenever I was changing state, you have seen the render function was called again and again. So whenever the state is changed, render is called. But because the default value for this one is returned true. This one is returned true. That's the reason. That's the reason it was rendering again and again. If we return this as a false, and once we change the state, the render function will not be called.
Okay.
I will show you that practically. So let's say if we have input box here, that type equal to text and value equal to this dot state dot username, and I will say on change. Generally, I can write a function outside it, which I call in the on change.
Yeah.
But I can write syntax, and I can call the function inside here only. And that syntax I haven't shown you. I will not explain you today. I will explain you some other day because that's a different topic. But just see how to write it. I will write open bracket, close bracket. Inside it, I will say E, and I will press the arrow. Then I will start with the curly bracket, and here I can say this dot set state, and here only I will update the state. That is, I will say username colon e dot target dot value. Generally, we are writing this in another function, but right now our task is not to understand how to. I have written this. Right now, task is to understand the life cycle.
Okay.
I want to update it by some way. I am updating the state with new value.
Okay.
So now, whenever the state will update, this function will be called, and if we return this true, already it is by default true. Return true is by default. That's the reason render function is called again. So right now I'm showing the default value, and then I'll change it to false, and you will see the difference. Okay. So there is some extra. There's some problem here. I have to close this curly bracket. And this is fine. Okay. So you will see constructor is called, will mount is called, render is called, component did mount is called. Now I will change it to manys. When I change it to many,
Render is called again.
constructor and render both, that is app is called again.
Right.
Okay. Because actual constructor is not called. Constructor is called only one time in the lifetime, whenever the app is this. Since I put the constructor here, it was showing like that. Constructor should not be called. It is calling should component update. Let's do it again.
Okay. Okay.
If I say, so constructor is called only first time it is loaded.
Right.
When I change the state, should component update is called, and then render is called. So
Right.
because should component is returning true, that means it's saying call the render again, re-render all the elements again, populate the variable to all the components again. That's
Because
the
the
meaning of
should component update is true. Right.
right. Now if I say should component is false, then if I change now, since should component is called, but since return is false, render is not called again.
Yeah. Okay.
And you will see the variables is not updated with the new value.
Yeah, it is not updated. Yeah.
Because only render function can update with a new value. Though state is changed, but new value is not updated to the, because we are not calling render function.
Right.
So by
So every
default,
time for an updation, a render function has to be recalled.
right.
Yeah.
By default, it is true. So if I remove this, that means it will automatically call the render function. If I change now, okay, undefined instead of the boolean value, make sure return is true or false. Let's see what happens. Should component update. If I'm creating should component, I should return true or false. Otherwise, it gives some error kind of thing. If I by default is true, that means if I delete it, it will be true. But by default, it is calling.
Okay.
If I say change it, so render is again called.
Right. Okay.
Next will be, after once I get the return value true, then this function will be called. That means whether you want to update the component, that means whether you want to call the render again. So this will be called. So I will say console.log. This is component will update. That means whether render will be called again, will be updated again. This means like this. So if I now change it, should component is called, and then component will update. It means whether render will be updated again. This will not return true or false. This is only saying that component will update is going to happen soon. Render is going to happen soon. So when this is called, and render function will call this one. We will call render function. And this one will run after the render. When app is loaded, before render is called, we call this one will mount, and after render we call did mount.
Right.
But when we change the state, first will update is called, and after render did update is called.
Okay.
So I'll say console.log. This is called after render function is completed. I will say many. So should update, should component update, will update, and render is called, and then component did update is called.
So should update comes when you are giving instruction to update. Will update is when it's doing the update, and did update is when it completes the update. Is it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Should is called whenever state is changed. Should is called first. After should will is called. After that render is called. After that did update is called.
Got it.
So anything, if you want to write your custom code, which will happen before the render, you can put it in the will mount and will update. This is on the page load. This is on the state change. If you want to write anything which is after render, you will put it in this function or in both the functions, depending on your requirement.
Got it. Okay.
And if you change the state and you don't want to update the view to the user, then you will return false in this function. But that
Okay.
that never happens practically. We want to show it. We want to update it.
Yeah, React is all about view, right? So,
So we generally don't call this, but it is made to, if you want
okay,
forcefully to do something, then you can do
okay,
that.
okay.
And whenever I go from this to another page, that means this app is gone. That means this app is no longer available. Then unmount is called. That means when we change from one page to another page, this app is no longer available. So component, that is on unload kind of thing. In previous page, Windows unload, that is when you go from the Windows to outside, you get some message, that is the unmount. Unmount means when component is not available, we call another component. Right now, I don't have another component, so I can show you, but I will write something which will do the similar kind of stuff. Generally, we have different pages. So if you go from one page to another, you will see unmount will be called first, and then you will be redirected to another page. But right now we don't have, so I need to write some code. This is just not the real code. We
Right,
don't use this practically, but this will
right.
unmount the things.
Got it. Okay.
So let me write the code to unmount it. So I will go to index.js and I will write this. This is the function I created. I got from internet somewhere. This is saying set timeout, means after 1 minute, after 10 seconds. Yeah, now can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So this is the function. You know what is this function? Arrow function. Have you heard of this arrow function?
I think it in JavaScript. I've seen this that after a certain time, which is the time after that,
Yeah, you have seen set
time's
timeout.
out. Yes, yes.
Have you seen this function?
No, I have not. No, I haven't.
Okay,
That's
so in
new.
ES6 version, let's say this is the function, normal function. We create a normal function, maybe my name, and I have this arrow, this round bracket, and this is a curly bracket. Inside that, I can write console.log, which is the normal JavaScript function.
Yeah.
In ES6, if I want to write the same function, I will write like this. I will put arrow, round bracket, that is this one. And I will give the arrow. And then I will start with this curly bracket. So this is the function.
So how would you know the name of the function is my name? No, would you know?
So we don't call it with the name. We directly call, like I am calling directly here. That means run at this place.
But in older JavaScript, like functions are objects, right? So sometimes we would use the function name to create new instances of the object. We can't do it here. Every time we have to do this again.
This is not to create that object. If you want to create object, you will do like this way only.
Okay, got it. Okay, this is just when you're using the function. Okay.
Right, directly if you want to call function directly. This is not the real function. This is the simulation of the function.
Okay.
Okay, so we will delete it.
Oh, that's why you had that arrow in that on change as well. Okay.
Right. That is the function. So that function I did not explain you. That's the reason I was not talking that about at that place. Okay. So I create a kind of function here, and which will unmount this part after 10 seconds.
Got it.
Once it will unmount, you will see app.js is unmounted, and you will see this message. Let's check this one.
Okay.
So we will wait for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3. See, after 10 seconds, component will unmount is called.
Got it.
Whenever that component, generally to experiment it, we need different pages. But since I don't have any found some solution on internet to how to unmount kind of thing. This is not the real code which you have to remember kind of thing. This is just the code
Just to
to
show.
to remind this part.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so this one was all about a component, except this part we did not did this one. Before I do this one, I will write something on each one so that you remember what each one does.
Right, okay. Thanks.
The first one is I will say immediately before initial rendering. This is called before render. This one will called immediately after render, initial rendering. This one will be, okay, let's put this one also. And component receives new props. I will show you how it receives the new props and when it receives the new props. And this one will be the before rendering after receiving new state or new prop. And this one will be before before rendering after receiving new props or state. And this one will be after component bits are flushed. That is actually after rendering, but it's not. It's actually copy of this one. After rendering, after receiving new props and state, and then after rendering, and then after rendering. So first I change the state. Then once I change the state, I call the render function, and after rendering, we call this state update. So it is after receiving the state, then after rendering, we call this one.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
The next one will be immediately before removing component from DOM. So when we remove the component, we call different component. We remove this component from the DOM, from the visibility of the user, then this function is called. And now we will see this part. So for doing this part, we need to create another component so that you can see the effect. So let's create another component. Last new content things component. And here let's put render function inside render return.
Right.
And here I will put some tag. Put the div tag. Hello world. Now I will copy this function. Component will receive new props here in this component.
Right.
Because the meaning of this is component will receive props. So whenever we call and we send some props to this function, this component, that means component is receiving some props, and then it will be called.
Okay. Okay.
Props are received. So this one is called when we call this function, and we will.
So the right place for that component will receive props is under that and not under app, is it?
App also sometimes receive the props, which I haven't shown you now. That's the reason I'm not showing you.
Got it.
If app is receiving, then it will work there also.
Okay. Okay.
If only this one is receiving, then.
So whichever component receives props.
Right. Right.
Okay.
I'm putting two console.log. One is the new props which we are passing here, and one is the this.props. This is a props which already, we use it this.props as a in this one.
Right.
So I'm putting to this to see what is the difference. You will see in this both the things. So we'll see the also what is difference between this.props and the new props which is coming from here.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So once I will change, you will see the difference between the both the things. Now what I will do, I will change the props from here to that component. So I will say HR. First I'll just put line and I will put new content, and I will pass the props. One is the username is equal to this dot state dot username, age equal to this dot state dot age.
Right.
So now when we will see what happens. So let's this. Initially also it goes there, but this is something when we update the state at that time.
Right.
So it's saying component will receive props. And first time it is having the default value which was passed initially. Initially it saves as a props.
Yeah.
And when I change the state, it was getting the new value from the when I change the state. So you will see
the state. Yeah.
Yeah. So you will see when I pass something, this is the old state, this is the new one.
Got it.
When I change it something, this is the old one, and this is the new one.
Okay. So the old one is one behind the new one.
Right. One behind the last one. That one is the last one which is saved.
Got it. Okay.
So this one is about all life cycle. In my practical life, I have used only this one, but you just remember all because in interview they ask all. In interview also
all the projects can be done in this component, is it?
Yeah, this one, second one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because mostly it is used for ajax.
Right.
And so this one is used for ajax, so we have used this one. Others are really maybe if we make big gaming application or too many interaction, then maybe we can use some other lifecycle methods. But in our project we are just making website. In the website there is no hardcore interest in making this call.
Right.
So we have not used it.
Okay.
So I'll give you this in the chat. Maybe you save it, or if you lost it, I will email you.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
This one was about the life cycle, and now we will move to next chapter that is called ajax. We have a lot of time for the ajax call to the server, and so we need to understand ajax in the React. So I will explain you that part now.
Okay.
Let me save this to another file because I don't want to lose it. Maybe tomorrow, if you want it, I will send you this file.
Sure. Thanks.
And I put it in the chat. If you have, it's okay. I will delete all because I don't want to use this now. Okay, let's keep the state. Let's keep the did mount because that is where we will put all our ajax requests. And I'll delete all. And I'll delete render part. I will delete this part. So first I want to explain you the ajax part, and then we will use some practical here. Okay. Let me see what I want to explain in ajax. Okay. So there are two things we have to learn. One is the ajax part. Write down in some notes. One second. Let me open the notepad. Okay. When we build application, we need to remember two things. One is called as the local storage, and second is ajax. We should know both things because we will be using both the things when we build some application.
Okay.
Now, have you seen the Meetup in the mobile? That Meetup.com in the mobile
The
Meetup
app?
app.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you go to messages, what happened? It loads, and you get the messages. Have you seen that?
Right.
It's
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
so bad. If I don't have network connection, or if I want to see the messages which I got yesterday, it's again loading and getting the
Yeah.
message.
It gets stuck there. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you go to WhatsApp, you have the message, last day message is there. You don't see the loading icon of the last day message. You see only the loading icon of the current day message. So
Right. Yeah.
it's very user friendly, but Meetup is not user friendly.
Right.
So let's say if I want to build same thing in my application,
Hmm.
Ajax is something which goes to the server and get the data. So
Okay.
once we get the data, we should save it in the local storage so that users, whatever we have in the, whatever user get from server yesterday, it should be in the local storage so that he should not again fetch the messages from the server. He should
They can
only fetch
access
the,
it. Yeah.
yeah. So that means if I first time, let's say I don't have any message, I will go to the
Hmm.
server using Ajax,
Hmm.
and I will come back from the server. I will save it in the local storage.
Right.
And then when I open the app, it will show the message from the local storage. Show the message from local storage.
So you don't have to hit the server again, which
Hit the
that
server.
Meetup app
Or
is doing. Yeah.
right. And even if you hit the server,
Hmm.
you are showing this message to the user. User at least can see his past messages, and secretly you call the server and get the new data and update this message in the local storage. So user
Got it.
will see the new message suddenly, but he has not to call the server. He should not see the round icon again and
Right.
again.
The gear icon. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the reason we should use local storage, and we should use Ajax also to get the new data from the server.
Got it.
But we should save in the local storage some data which we want to be saved on the machine.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are doing React, we should learn these both the technology, how we are going to this one, how we are going to this one.
Right.
Okay, so let's say if I have some object, you know how to save in local storage? Just asking. I will explain you, but I want to know if you know that or you don't know.
No, I don't.
Okay. So because I explained in that way, if you know, I will go a little faster. That's okay, no problem.
Hmm.
Let's say if I have object,
Hmm.
this object, and I have name, for example, many, and I have age 43. So this is
Hmm.
my object.
Hmm.
I have variable also called as the username
Hmm.
equal to John.
Hmm.
Let's see how to store this object into local storage and how to save this simple variable in the local storage. So
Hmm.
if I want to save this in the local storage, since this is a one item
Huh.
without, this is a single string, no object, so
Right.
we will save in the local storage as follows. I will say local capital S storage
Okay.
dot set capital I item, and
Okay.
here I will put some key. What name I should to save it in on the local storage. So I will say key one, for example,
Okay.
or I can say username,
Okay.
whatever I want to give, or
Hmm.
username one. If you have username, you can give username one, two, three,
Hmm.
whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
This
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
the key,
Hmm.
and we have to give the value. Value is username. This is the value.
Okay.
I'm putting this value here, so it will be saved in the local storage.
Okay. Okay.
Now, if I want to retrieve from the local storage this thing, let's put this
Okay.
object below it so that we will learn object separately. Now,
Hmm.
if I want to use this John, if I want to get the John value again from the local
Hmm.
storage,
Hmm.
to retrieve, what is the spelling? I don't know. Okay, I will
Okay.
say local
Hmm.
storage
Hmm.
dot get item. Get item means I'm getting the item, and here I want to only pass the key.
Right.
Once I pass the key, it will give the value of
Value.
the result will be John. One will come out.
Okay.
Same, if I want to save the variable inside the local storage, I will use this method and I will retrieve like this method.
Okay. Okay.
Local storage only can take the string. It cannot take the object. It cannot take the array.
Okay.
So now if I have object, how to save it in the local storage? So what I will do, I will say local storage dot set item, and here I will say, let's say my object, key, anything. And for the value, I have to say like this: JSON dot stringify, and inside that stringify, I will pass my object or array. This object or array.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So what does this do? This is a default function of JavaScript. You don't have to call any library.
Okay.
So this one will convert object into the string and save it in the local storage.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Now how to retrieve the object from the local storage? So to retrieve the object from the local storage, I will create a variable. Maybe I will say object1 first, object1 equal to say local storage dot get item, and I will pass the key, that is the my object. I saved it with this my object. Now this is in the string format because we saved in the string.
Right.
String format. Now we have to convert again back to object.
Yeah.
So to convert object, I will create another variable called as var obj is equal to JSON dot parse, and I will pass the obj1. That is this one.
Oh, okay. Okay, because obj1 was a string before, now you want.
So let's say obj string. I will name it obj string. So obj string here, and
that obj is different from this obj.
Yeah, let's name this as 2.
Right.
Okay, so this, when it will come out, it will be like same this object.
Right, got it.
Because it was saved as a string and we convert it into object again using this statement.
Right. Okay.
So I can put as many data as I want in the object, and I can save in the local storage, and then I can get it from the local storage as an object, and I can show that object to the user.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so this one was the on the local storage. So if I want to build the meetup messages kind of thing, I will save the data object in the local storage, and first I will show that object to the user as soon as user open the page, and then I hiddenly call the server to get the new data, and I will update the data on the fly to the user. So that way user will not see the and he will by the time read the old messages, and suddenly new message can replace it.
So like, is the cost of having a local storage more? Like, why do meetup people or the meetup app, why does it behave like this? Like, why do they not just store everything in their local storage if performance issues is there?
The thing is that developers are lazy.
Okay.
they get the requirement and they just build that one. Okay. Developers never think of the user friendliness. That is the job of the design person. And even if design person know this is a problem, developer will say no, this one cannot be done. We cannot do this one. And there is second reason also. They want to show all the new messages. Let's say new messages they want to show that, but that is creating a too much cost, and it is so bad. I want to I want to read the message of yesterday. I need to wait for some time, and it's loading, so it's not a good idea. A lot of things happen, in the big companies. You don't see small things to be taken care of because it's a big company and it goes with the proper rules. And sometimes a developer said initially, no, we will do this one, then rest will follow that pattern. They don't do anything. If it's a startup company, then developers are a little active and they do the things more actively.
Now,
Now, if you go to the Yahoo company, everybody is sitting, sleeping, and let's see how it goes into the
Yeah, yeah.
wherever it wants to.
It's very hard to change the system in bigger
Right.
companies.
Big company, they go very slow. And for to
Right.
change anything, they have a lot of meetings. And in the meeting, one guy will be such that he will object to everything. And then
I
no
know.
development will happen, like politics in India. So I was in Cisco,
Oh,
only meeting, only meetings, only meetings. So,
oh my
you know,
God.
means to do one thing, we have to call everybody. Everybody will decide, and one person will say, no, no, no. He will create his idea. So it's so
It's
difficult
difficult to make progress, yeah.
right. Country will not make progress. Now Trump is there, nobody is allowing him to do anything. So he's not doing anything. He wanted to do a lot of things, but opposition is so. Oh man. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, it got disconnected.
Sorry, it got disconnected.
Okay, so I gave you in the chat. I'll give you. You got it, or I should give again?
Can you give again? I lost my chat, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I give it again. This is about the local storage part.
Yeah, got it now.
Now we will do with. We will go with called as ajax call.
Hmm.
So let's build the ajax call. So now there are three ways to do ajax call. Okay. So how many ways? Three ways. There are more, but these are the three common which we do usually. One is called the get request. Second one is called the post request. Third one is also called post request, but there is difference between the second and third. In the second one, I pass the data in the format like this. For example, name equal to many, ampersand age equal to 43, ampersand gender equal to male. Data goes in this format.
Okay.
And in the third one, data goes in the JSON format. JSON format means it will be like name, age, 43, gender. It's a JSON format. Do you know what is JSON format is?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the JSON format. So this data goes in this format, and we get the request kind of thing from the server.
Yeah.
So we will see all three methods how to do each one, right?
Right.
Let's put it in our app function. So I will first build the get request. We'll create a function get request. And second, I will create a request as a post request. Third, I will create the request as post request. These functions I will create it, and then I will see how to make the call in each one. So first, I will create a variable called as URL. We need to call the URL, or we can pass the URL from here. We have to pass the URL from here, and then I will start with my get request. Console.log URL is URL. I will see the URL. Now I will start my get request. Generally, if you go with the jQuery, they have a library called ajax kind of thing. And if you go with the Angular, they have the library called .http to do the ajax request. But React does not have any such kind of libraries.
Okay. So we have to do it this way.
No, we have to use some common method which all browsers support. This is a normal JavaScript method which is available in the JavaScript. I'm not doing specifically anything about React. This is JavaScript integrated.
Okay.
So,
But React recognizes it, right?
React does any JavaScript is fine. So
Okay,
since it
okay.
is JavaScript based, so we can use that one.
Got it.
You can use any way. There are a number of ways to call Ajax, but this is the one which I feel simpler because this is integrated into the all browsers and it is in the JavaScript. So no need to add any third party library.
Okay. Yes.
So it has a function called as fetch. And in the fetch, you have to pass the URL, right? And after URL, you have to pass some object so that you should tell what is the type of call you want to make. In this object, let's say we will pass method. Method is get method. Since this is a get request, we will pass method as get. So this is the first part of the Ajax request. We have to
Fetch
do
is
that.
what here? Fetch is a function.
Fetch is a default JavaScript function to do the Ajax call.
Okay. Okay.
We have to pass the URL, and after we pass the URL, we create the object as a second parameter, and in the object we will say method get. So use the method get.
Got it.
I will put the dot sign after the round bracket because round bracket starts here, ends here, and I will say round bracket, and I will say then, then, then I will start with round bracket close.
Okay.
Inside this then, I will create arrow function. This is called arrow function, and I will get in the bracket. I will get a response. If I want to make a similar function in the JavaScript, it will be like this: XYZ. I will give the name, and in the bracket I will put in response, and this is the curly bracket. So these two are gone. This part is nothing but this part, and we put arrow, and this curly bracket is curly bracket.
So React works only with the newer ES6, is it? Not with.
We are doing ES6. We can do ES5 also.
No,
with you any interview, they will not. Right now they don't allow ES5. They want everyone with the React with ES6.
Yes. Yeah, they prefer ES6. Yeah, you're right.
Right. Now, once I say response, here I have to return response.json. This is the standard method which is fetch people. So you have to follow it, kind of thing. It returns some JSON. And I will tell you where exactly is something which you have to remember. Right now, all this is something which is given by that team, how to use this fetch function.
Right.
So I will call then, and response will come, and I will return the response.json is a function. In that, I will return that. I will return response.json. Okay. Now, again, I will start with another then, and I will put round bracket. Okay. And here again I will start with arrow function, and inside this here the parameter I can pass anything. I will put anything, but I am putting J just for a namesake. I am putting J, and I will do here console.log J is, and I will put J. This is J is very important. So whatever data is coming from the server, all the data comes in the form of JSON format, and this is all these functions are used for the JSON format only.
Right.
So the whatever data is coming from the JSON format from the server, that will be in the form of this J. So if I have my server is sending some variables, I can access with this console.log.
Okay.
So anything which I want to do, which let's say server is returning name equal to many. I cannot get that name equal to many here. I cannot get name equal to many here anywhere. I can get name equal to many here in this part. So whatever server is returning, it goes into this part.
Okay. And what? Okay. And that the online 21 dot then response, that is just a standard way Ajax That's the standard
Yes.
syntax with the fetch. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
you can't
This
mess
is,
with that. That's
yeah.
not the
This,
response you get from the server.
right. Right. This is the intermediate step
Got it.
where they get this response J also with some other data. So we don't need that data. So they clean up here and we get a cleanup response here.
I see. Yeah, I see. Okay.
Okay. Now what happens if there is some from the server? So we need to put some error part also. So I will say after the second, then I will say catch. I will
Okay.
again open round bracket close, and inside round bracket again I will put the arrow function,
Hmm.
and here in the arrow function I will get the error. I'm putting short form
Oh,
error.
okay, okay. Oh, it's like
Yeah,
Python try and catch. Hmm.
right. Console.log error is error.
Okay.
So
If
whatever
there's
error,
no error,
if there's no error, we will get the J.
okay.
And if you're getting some error, it will go here. And if you're not getting error, success will go here.
Oh, okay. Depending on server response. Okay.
Right. So this is something, once you get this J response, you can call another function or you can update the state. You can update the state with
Oh,
J. Whatever I want to do, I can do.
okay.
This J is needed. J is the final thing which I need. If I'm getting error, I can update the state with some, maybe I have some error variable
Hmm.
and I can update with ERR. So I can update the state error variable with ERR, which is coming from the ajax request. And this error is
Right.
something we have error here kind of thing.
Yeah.
Initially it's null, but when I get error, we will get something. So I can update the state with the error also, and I can update. Maybe I have another variable here called as data,
Hmm.
and I can update this data with this J. For example, I said curly bracket data.
Hmm.
Here's the value of J. So I update the data with the J, what is coming from the server.
Data. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, data.
Yeah.
Right now I'm not doing that part. I'm just doing the ajax part. So right
Right.
now,
Right.
let's forget this part. We'll show
Right.
you when we will do project.
Right. Okay.
And right now we are not doing even this part. It's deleted. So
Right.
only remember this ajax part.
Mm-hmm.
I call the get request. I
Mm-hmm.
fetch it. It has
Mm-hmm.
it has URL and the method
Hmm.
in the object, and then it has two then.
Hmm.
First then is not useful. It only gives the raw data. And the
Hmm.
second then will give the detail which is coming from the server.
Hmm.
And then catch is giving the error.
Catching the error. Hmm.
Right.
Okay. That's how I get request.
Right.
Okay.
Now let's go to put in the post request. I will copy most of the things is same. So just
Okay.
first I will copy and then I will edit it. So
Okay.
here I am passing the URL
Hmm.
and I am passing some data to the server,
Okay.
because post request is we have to pass some data.
You're writing to it. Yeah.
And data is in the format of like this. Format of data will be this format. We can say format maybe like this. Name equal to many,
Mm-hmm.
send age equal to 43, gender equal to male.
Right. Okay.
So now how to do this formatting of this one? So here method will go
Post.
URL and method is going as a post.
Right.
And I will pass some more parameters here, comma. I will say body. Body will get this data. Okay.
Yeah.
Or I can pass.
Body will get the data.
Let's say,
The value of
let's
that
say,
data.
right.
Right.
Say I'm showing you this, but in reality you will pass the data. But I'm
Okay.
showing you like this just for namesake.
Okay.
You have to pass some more additional parameter, more equal to parse, redirect. These are the addition data which has
Which you have to pass.
you have to pass. Let's say there is some follow redirection on the server, so it will follow kind of thing. And there are cost issue kind of thing in the browsers. To fix that one, you have to pass this mode cost equal to fix that cost issue.
What does cors mean?
Cost issue is something, because of different URLs in the browser, you call sometimes different ajax request, so it does not go properly. So cost is to prevent that one.
Okay. Got
it will work with all the ajax URLs.
Okay. So it might be hitting different servers or different URLs.
Right. So if initially they were giving the error in the browser that you cannot access this server because of cost issue, and so you have to pass this mode. Here they are giving the mode cost, so you can call the different servers.
Right.
So right, just say mode equal to cost. This is not really related to our ajax, but this is something internally they do to make different servers accessible. And I will pass the headers. And in headers, I will say new headers will be round bracket, and inside it will be object. And this object will be content. Here I can pass any header.
Okay.
Right now I'm passing it as application -x-www.com URL encoded. This is required because I am passing the data in this format.
Right.
If I'm passing the data in JSON format, then this part is not required.
/JSON. Okay.
Yeah, then this part is not required in that.
Okay.
This part is only required if we are passing this data like this.
Right. Got it.
And rest all other things will be same.
Okay.
Let's do this now for this JSON request.
So this will be almost same, right?
Yeah, little bit different.
Yeah.
Here the data will be in the format of JSON kind of thing, like I showed you
object,
previously.
Right? Yeah.
Object.
JavaScript object. Yeah.
Like name, many, like this. I'm just putting one, but it can come any number.
Right.
Let's make this OBJ so we know this is object coming as.
Yes.
First will be the post will be the same. In the body, I have to say JSON.stringify, and I have to pass OBJ.
Okay.
Whatever object is coming, you have to stringify object.
Okay.
And mode cost will be there. Redirect follow will be there, and this headers will not be there.
Headers we don't need. Yeah.
No need to even say application JSON. It is automatically.
Okay.
That's it. All others will go as it is.
And what about converting back the stringify thing? That
converting back will not come in from the server. It will come as an object only.
Okay. When we want to retrieve it, then we.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we put in local storage, then only we need it. But here only sending is needed. Server we will anyhow get the object only.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
So these are the three methods. Tomorrow we will use. Next time we will use these methods to do some practical exercise. Means we will call some server. And we will see if data is coming properly or not.
Okay.
So that we'll do next time.